only 45 minutes behind schedule right now, so huge thanks to those of you that have been sitting around for a little time. My name's Simon Parker. I'm the Activities Director here at ISB, and it's my great pleasure this afternoon to welcome all of you to the Beijing All-Star Swim Meet for 2024. While I've got you all here, there are two sets of people I really want to thank. This is our last big host meet of the year, and so if you guys could help me out, put your hands together for these two sets of people in a minute, that would be awesome. Nick Wilson, our aquatics director, and all our swim coaches and swim team here at ISB, and also our crazy, large group of para-volunteers that have been working hard all year to help make this happen. So the Nick and the swim team, and to all the ISB para booster volunteers, could you give them a big round of applause out here? So not only are we lucky to be here swimming today, we're also super lucky in another way. ISB as a school has a long history. I've been here for 12 years now, but the school has thousands of alumni all over the world doing really great things. Our advancement office, led by Jerry Oldfield, her role is to put a strong focus on keeping connections with alumni close, arranging multiple events across the year to connect the past graduate community with the present one. To that end, on this fantastic weekend of swimming, we welcome back Camille, Cheng, ISB graduate and super fast swimmer. Camille, So Camille attended ISB from grade 4 to grade 12, and she graduated in 2011. After graduating, she attended UC Berkeley in the US, where she was a part of the NCAA Division I championship winning team twice, and captained that team in her senior year. She's a 4-time medalist at the Asian Games, and in 2015, she swam an Olympic A time at the United States National Championships in 200 meters freestyle, and is one of only 3 Hong Kong females to ever have achieved this. Camille qualified for the 2016 Olympics in Rio, the 2021 Olympics in Tokyo, and this year she caps off the hat-trick, having qualified once again to swim this summer in Paris 2024.
So my name is Camille Cheng. I'm a Hong Kong Olympic swimmer. I graduated from ISB in 2011, but I was here from 4th grade to 12th grade. Part of, coming back, and part of what I hope to offer is for them to know that you can take the sport further, whatever it is. And I took it to a really high level and high intensity going to Division I school, but there are plenty other options and paths that you can go. I'm glad to hear that swimming is still like a big sport here at ISB.
Outside of swimming itself, Camille, along with 2 other Hong Kong national swimmers, founded the non-governmental organisation Mind the Waves, dedicating time and energy to supporting the mental health and well-being of the Hong Kong adolescents community. We're so grateful that she's taken time out of her busy preparation schedule for the Summer Olympics to join us today. So everyone, if you wouldn't mind, one more time, let's put your hands together. The 3-time Olympian swimmer, all that great individual, Camille Cheng. Now, Camille has graciously agreed to take a few questions from the audience. So at this point, I'm going to bow out, and I'm going to hand over to Gon, Mia, Gia, Wan Hin, and Chelsea, ISB's current high school driving swim community, for the next 10 to 15 minutes. Camille will answer a few questions as well as talk a little bit about what being a top athlete looks like in the modern world of sport, and how all things swimming have had such an influence on her as a person.
Okay. Thank you so much for joining us today. We first have some questions that our swim team came up with, and then we have a short speech by Gia, and then we'll have some questions prepared by the audience and some random questions if we have time. So, can you first tell us what it was like swimming when you were in high school back then?
Hi everyone, I'm really excited to be here. Thank you for having me back. So I've always loved being in the water, but it actually wasn't until I moved to Beijing and started swimming at ISB that I started my competitive career. I was in PE class at 9 years old, and at the time the swimming coach, a Greek Olympian, saw me swim and he just says, "Oh, you need to try out for the swimming team." So I tried out for the swimming team, and that's kind of how I got started and have still been going now, almost over 20 years later, still in the sport.
Okay. So following with that, so can you just kind of describe the differences in journey between from high school to university and then to Olympic level swimming, and which of those moments kind of captivated you to pursue swimming as a career?
Yeah, when I was younger, so I was living in Beijing during the Beijing 2008 Olympics, and I was very lucky I was able to go watch some of the swimming. And I think it was there that I first had this Olympic dream, thinking like, oh, how cool would it be one day, not just to watch Olympics, but actually to be at the Olympics. And I think that was the first time that I really had this dream, but I kept it to myself. I was very shy, I didn't want to tell other people because I was scared, oh, what if I don't make it? And so I didn't really know after high school if I wanted to pursue collegiate swimming, but I thought, let's see how far swimming can take me. And fortunately, I was a walk-on at a Division I collegiate program. And when I walked onto this team, I was surrounded by Olympians, Olympic medalists, Olympic coaches, and so I think because of being in that environment, you're forced to rise to that level. And so that really helped me get much better as an athlete. And then after I graduated, I thought, okay, let me give myself 1 year and see if I can qualify for the Olympics. I've been swimming so many years, what's one more year? And in that 1 year, I qualified for the Olympics and went to Rio. And it was crazy to think like, oh, the little girl who had that dream in Beijing 2008 finally realized this dream 8 years later, which is a long, long time. And after that, I moved back to Hong Kong, and I didn't really know what I wanted to do. And growing up, I never thought that you could be an athlete as a career. But I thought, if I still love this sport, if I feel like there's more for me to learn and grow in this sport, then why not try and pursue this opportunity? And so here I am now, almost 10 years later, as a professional athlete, and still really enjoying it.
Thank you. Mia has another question.
Okay, so Camille, you've made many achievements in competitive swimming, but you've also probably pursued success in other fields as well. So how do you think your Olympic experience impacted your life beyond swimming? So did it open doors to new opportunities, or did it shape your perspective in any way?
Great question. I think for me, over the years, as I said, I've been in this sport for a long time. There's always something that I'm learning or opportunities that have presented itself. I think for me in the very, very beginning, when I was 9 years old and I was very shy, very timid, swimming and being good in the sport actually gave me a lot of confidence. And so this confidence I was able to translate in other areas of my life, socially, in school. And then, going to university, I was given an opportunity because of swimming to pursue higher education and also to be among a really strong group of swimmers. And I think now, after having been to a few Olympics, it's allowed me to also use my voice and my platform as an Olympic athlete to talk about things and to explore other areas that are not just in the pool, but beyond the pool as well. As was mentioned earlier, last year I started a mental health organization. That's something that I'm very passionate about as well. And I feel like I can use my voice as an Olympic athlete to talk about these other things.
Thank you for replying to our question. So, hi Camille, I'm Gia, and I want to express my gratitude for the inspiration you have brought in our community. And I also have the privilege to serve as the student representative in the Alumni Achievement Award Selection Committee. So I vividly recall your visit 5 years ago, especially the positive excitement that filled the hallways when we heard that you were coming. So even those students who weren't avid swimmers or particularly interested in swimming were eager to catch a glimpse of you. And for the swim team and the swimmers, of course, I remember we were overflowing with enthusiasm, thrilled to have an Olympian swimmer in our alumni. And when you came to visit our campus, both swimmers and non-swimmers flocked to the pool to see your incredible skills and hear your words of wisdom. And I remember you spoke passionately about commitment and perseverance, which made a lot of us feel guilty, or just me. And when you shared your swimming journey, starting later than your peers and overcoming various challenges in your life, I just realized just how much you persevered throughout your swimming career to becoming an Olympian. Oh, and I also have another thing to say too. Oh, yes, I do have a question. Sorry. Yes. I also, So I remember seeing the spark in my peers' eyes when you actually revealed to us that you began swimming competitively after you were scouted by a PE teacher instead of starting at the age of 2 or 3. So I think that was the point when we all realized, wow, maybe one day, if we persevere enough, be resilient, then we might be able to become an Olympian just like Camille Cheng. So Camille, you inspired countless members in our community and continue to inspire them with your remarkable achievements and your own unwavering dedication. Now, finally, I want to ask you one last question. Oh, before that, I couldn't be happier that you were chosen as the recipient of the 2024 ISB Alumni Achievement Award. Now for the final question. Can you give our audience, who are predominantly age group international school swimmers, one bit of advice if they would like to aspire to achieve their goals?
First of all, thank you so much for your sweet words. And to answer your question, I think for me, I felt very lucky because I just really loved swimming. And I think when I was really young, I was always competing, competitive person, but the biggest competition was with myself. So I think that's something to this day is it's very easy to get wrapped up and to compare yourself to what other people are doing, whether it's in the pool, in the classroom, anything in life. And I think for me, I've always challenged myself to see kind of how much further I can go. Try to be the best version of me. Kind of the biggest competitor is, yourself. And I think, as I was saying a little bit in the video, that I was able to take it to the Olympics, but that doesn't have to be everybody's path. And everyone has a different relationship to swimming and what it means to them. And if you don't go to the Olympics, that doesn't mean that it's less important or less than. My sister also graduated from ISB. She went on to swim in college as well, and she had a great experience with swimming and loves swimming for very different reasons. So whether it's swimming or another area in life, whether arts, music, theater, any subject in school, I think don't be afraid to kind of pick an untraditional path or to pursue whatever passions and to see where it can take you, because you might be surprised, like I have been.
Thank you, Camille, for your inspiring words. Thank you.
So we have questions by other international schools. Juan Hin, our swim team captain, is going to walk around and find those who submitted the questions.
Thank you both of you for sharing your experiences. So as Juan said, we have some prepared questions from different schools. I'll hand it over to Lisa.
Hello, I'm Dennis from Beijing City International School. And my question for you is, when do you usually start to taper before a race and why?
Good question. I can't even remember now, I just listened to what my coach says. But probably around like 2 to 3 weeks before. I think with age, you need more rest. So now probably 2 to 3 weeks before a big competition, I'll start to taper down.
What does your weekly or season training look like? For example, like sessions of swimming or like sessions of gym training?
So my training kind of changes depending on what block of training I'm in. But right now I swim 8 times a week, so some days doubled, which I think some of you also do maybe. And then, so 8 swimming sessions, 3 gym sessions, and then 2 Pilates sessions. Sometimes we add extra cardio, so it could be like spinning or cycling. I really like being outdoors, so sometimes on the weekend, on my day off, I like to go on a hike just to keep the body moving. So that's all the actual training, but then there's also a lot of the recovery. So making sure that I'm getting a lot of sleep. Sometimes I nap during the day. The nutrition, and then also anything from massage to physio, rehab, ice baths, foam rolling, all of that. So I feel like if it's not training, it's recovering for training.
Hello, my name is Sun, and I'm from the British School of Beijing Sydney. And my question is, could you tell us about a period in your swimming career that really affected you and how it affected the way you approach swimming?
Great question. So I feel like probably all of you have experienced at one point, you're not always really motivated, or you don't always want to show up to practice, or you're really tired. So I feel like I've had a lot of these moments in my swimming career, and sometimes it's to the point where I'm like, oh, especially after my first Olympics, maybe I should just quit or retire and do something different. And I feel like a lot of the journey in sports, it's very up and down, and I think that's part of the beauty of sports is what you can learn about yourself in these low moments, and everything that it teaches you about commitment and discipline and resiliency. So I think for me, in a lot of these moments, I had a lot, it would be hard to share, but one I'll give as an example was a few years ago, I was really struggling with different types of injuries. My shoulders were having a lot of pain, my back was having a lot of pain, my foot was having a lot of pain, and so I was thinking, maybe it's time to step away from the sport at this level. And I remember actually calling my dad and just telling him like, oh, maybe it's time. And he was like, well, you've been to an Olympics, sure, maybe it's time to stop. And I was like, oh, it's not really what I want to hear. And then I call my mom and I say the same thing, like, oh, my back hurts, maybe I should stop. And she's like, oh, okay, yeah, maybe it's time. So I don't know if it's some reverse psychology, but I was like, no, this is not what I want to hear. I want to keep swimming. But then I realized, okay, if I want to keep going in this sport, some things need to change. I need to be adaptable, I need to be flexible. And part of it, in this case, was maybe it's not training more or training harder, but it's training smarter. So really paying attention to the quality and really being very disciplined about the preparation before training, before competitions, making sure that I'm well warmed up, well recovered. And so I think over the years, it's letting go of a rigidity. You know, as I age and as I progress in the sport, a lot of things change, and it's really to go with the flow. Good question.
Thank you, thank you. Next up, we have a question from BWY.
Hi everyone, my name is Jason. I'm from Beijing World Youth Academy. And on the topic of ups and downs in sports, I wanted to ask if there are any flat grounds in your career. That is to say, are there any plateaus that you have experienced as periods or relatively long periods where you see little to no improvements despite you having very high motivations? So have you experienced those moments? And if so, how do you deal with them? Thank you.
Yeah, another great question. So it's funny you asked that question because I haven't had a best time in maybe 5 years, which is a long time. And I remember at your age, you know, every competition, I felt like, oh, I'm dropping time so easily. So if you are still in that phase, please appreciate it and treasure it. And so I think I have asked myself that question, if I'm not improving in my times, like why am I still swimming? And I think sometimes, especially in sport, there can be a lot of pressure that is related to the performance and the time, that your self-worth or who you are as an athlete is based on how fast you can swim. And I think for me, I took a step back and thought, what is it about this sport that I love? Like, why am I still swimming? And yes, I love working hard. I love seeing the results in faster times, but that's not the only thing that I love about swimming. You know, I love training with a group. I love the team feel, even if it's an individual sport. I like the feeling of working towards something and more of a process rather than the outcome. And I think in those moments, it teaches you a lot about who you are. And I think these are things that you will carry on beyond sport in whatever you have to do or you end up doing after. And I think, you know, a little bit with the question that was asked earlier about what opportunities are beyond just the sport or what the sport has given me, I feel like sometimes I don't just want to be, you know, remembered for the achievements, but also like the type of person that I want to be. So doing a lot more with community, trying to inspire and motivate the next generation of athletes and students, you know, in whatever it is that they want to do.
Thank you.
We'll have one last question. There's somebody in the back.
Thank you for sharing your experience. And lastly, we have a swimmer from Harvard want to ask a question.
Hi, I'm Zico from Harvard Beijing. So I want to ask you, what motivated you before and what motivates you now?
Oh, good question. I think, like I said, it changes kind of in the chapter of where I am with my life and with swimming. When I was really young, you know, obviously a best time was always the motivator and to see how fast you can get. And then now it's other things, you know, recently it's been trying to qualify for my third Olympics. And so the reason, the motivation behind it is not just the time or being able to go, but it's also the story of what it means to me. A big motivator for going to Paris is because my mom is French and this will be my last Olympics. My family has never been able to see me compete at the Olympics. Tokyo, there was COVID, and in Rio, it was very far to get to. So a big motivating factor for me was it would be really nice for my family to be able to see me live in Paris, representing Hong Kong. And so I think that the motivators in whatever you do, it's really about, you know, it can be very individual. And I think it just needs to make sense to you. And then you find the people around you who support you and encourage you to get to whatever it is. And I'm lucky that I have that around me.
Thank you for we're running out of time, but I have one simple question. It's going to be a real quick one. So, if I'm correct, you can correct me if I'm not. You're an ambassador for Alumni, and you're a founder of several mental health associations. And just one? Oh, okay. And don't you also have a women's rights activist? No? Okay. Can you just give a quick promotional statement about the World Mental Health Foundation you promote?
Yeah, so started it last year with 2 other friends, and really the message is, especially as athletes, there's a lot of pressure around, that is very physical, take care of your body. But I think, especially as an athlete, a lot of what we do is very mental. You're all racing here today, and it's really about the mindset that you have. And I think that's something that's often neglected, is that attention to the mind. And so that's something that we're trying to promote, is to take care of both body and mind.
Thank you, Camille, for answering all our questions. Now, can we welcome the head of our school, Mr. Rubenstein?
Swimming can be a lonely sport. When you're actually doing it, when you're really doing it, you can't even talk to anyone else. You get a mouthful of water if you do that. But being part of the ISB swimming community that all of you are now, you're also part of this bigger community, and including, for us at ISB, our alumni community. Our alumni community, spanning over 40 years, has over 10,000 people who call themselves ISB alumni. And in that are leaders in industry, politics, the arts, and athletics. And we hold an annual award every year for an outstanding alumni member. And this year the nominees were New York Times bestsellers, people that had advanced in technology and philanthropy, and of course, Camille Cheng. And we are so grateful for her accomplishments as a swimmer, as an athlete, as a person, and as an ISB graduate. And we'd like to present her with this year's 2024 ISB Alumni Achievement Award. Camille. You have a massive trophy case at home with all these different awards, so we hope this will be added to it. You're going to come up to the pool deck now. All of you aspiring swimmers, and all you swimmers and parents and so on, this is the top of what it looks like in that swimming pyramid. So if you want to take a selfie out of on the swim deck, we encourage you. We're going to have a ceremony up top later on. All right. Thank you so much for that.
Hey, so can you just help me out? Can you put your hands together for all of those people brave enough to ask a question, and all of the guys from ISB that helped us out with that suffering as well? The last thing I'm going to leave you with this Saturday afternoon are these 2 things here. So these are actually, Camille brought these in today. These are Hong Kong national team swim caps that she signed. We're going to present these to the top FINA point scoring male-bodied swimmer and the top FINA point scoring female-bodied swimmer at the end of the weekend, so you'll get that little memento to take home. The instructions that I'm getting from the pool right now are going to marshal it for the next event in the next 3 minutes. So, thank you all for joining us. Camille, we love you. Thank you so much. Congratulations. Have a fantastic rest of the weekend, everybody. Well done. Thank you.